Cabinet received an update on the Zimbabwe's response to the COVID-19 outbreak. This update was given by Minister of Defense and War Veterans Affairs, Honorable OCZ Muchinguri-Kashiri, as the chairperson of the ad hoc interministerial task force on the COVID-19 outbreak. As of 19th July, yesterday, Zimbabwe's cumulative COVID-19 cases stood at 83,619, with 53,453 recoveries and 2,622 deaths. The recovery rate stands at 64%, with 98% of COVID-19 positive cases being attributable to local transmission. The number of active cases stands at 27,544. Government notes with concern that there was a surge in weekly cases from 8,013 during the week ending 13th July 2021 to 21,346 in week ending 20 July 2021. The surge is mostly attributable to the general complacence in adhering to the set COVID-19 preventive measures, both in the communities and workplaces. The level 4 lockdown remains in force, and the following provinces have the most significant number of new cases: Mashonaland West 2,759, Harare Metropolitan 2,315, Mashonaland East 2,157, Manicaland 1,837, and Mashonaland Central 1,394. Members of the public are urged to exercise extreme caution, strictly observe the relevant preventive and precautionary measures and also regulations, and avoid any unnecessary travel. Most of all, the citizenry are being urged to take advantage of the availability of the COVID-19 vaccine, and please do get inoculated. Furthermore, government wishes to express its gratitude to local companies who made donations to His Excellency the President on the 16th July 2021 towards the vaccination program. The companies include consortium of contractors, those who are working on the Harare Bay Bridge Road, namely Fossil Contracting, Masimba Holdings Limited, Bitumen World, Exodus and Company. They donated together $500,000. Then CBZ Agro Yield donated $250,000. Sakunda Holdings donated $170 Zimbabwe million and 300,000 liters of fuel. ZB Financial Holdings Limited donated $50,000. West Property Company Private Limited, owned by Ken Sharp, donated $50,000, and Mr. Scott Sapukanya donated $100,000. In light of the continued rise in COVID-19 cases, Cabinet approved the following. 1. The decongesting of both public and private sector workplaces. In taking the lead, government has further reduced its workforce to 25% on a 2 weeks rotational interval. Priority will be given to the vaccinated personnel. 2. That the courts of law be opened only for remand and urgent cases. Then 3. That all civil servants should be vaccinated, and those that fall ill without having been vaccinated will not be entitled to the COVID-19 insurance. And 4. That all civil servants should be tested for COVID-19 at the commencement and end of the 2 week rotational interval. And finally, 5. That a locum-based COVID-19 risk allowance payment, a new model, which is the locum-based COVID-19 risk allowance payment model, be adopted for the health personnel in the red zone as part of the incentive schemes. Moving on to the progress report on the procurement and rollout of COVID-19 vaccines. The Vice President and Minister of Health and Childcare, Honorable C.G.D.N. Chiwenga, apprised Cabinet on progress made in the procurement and rollout of COVID-19 vaccines. The nation is advised that as of 19th July 2021, a total of 1,001,184,435 people had received their first dose of the COVID-19. That is well over 1 million. And for the second dose, 643,203, they have received their second dose countrywide. Cabinet wishes to further inform citizens that government is expecting a delivery of 1.5 million vaccines doses this week and an additional 1 million doses plus 2 million syringes on the 25th of July 2021. Government is also pleased to announce that the Ministry of Health and Childcare has developed a COVID-19 third wave containment plan. The highlights of the plan include the following. 1. Increasing the bed capacity at Mpilo and SlyMedia Central Hospitals. Then designation of Beatrice Road Infectious Disease Hospital and Excellent Hospital as COVID-19 district hospitals for Harare and Bulawayo, respectively. Then also strengthening private sector participation for improving conditions of service for health workers. 5. Operationalizing virtual hospital in which every district will have a rapid response team to attend to cases of acute COVID-19 clinical distress. And a review of COVID-19 risk allowance will also be done. Moving on to a report on the nominees for the 2021 honors and awards. Cabinet considered and approved the nominees for the 2021 honors and awards in terms of the Honors and Awards Act, Chapter 10.11. These were presented by the Vice President and Minister of Health and Childcare, Honorable CGDN Chiwenga. Cabinet wishes to inform the public that the government is now changing the system of conferring honors and awards. In the past, honors and awards were only conferred to the uniformed forces. Going forward, the system of conferring honors and awards is now being extended to civil servants and civilians as a defining characteristic of the Second Republic, where the national interest and selfless sacrifice for the good of humankind is extolled. These honors and awards will be conferred during the Heroes and Defense Forces Day in line with provisions of the Honors and Awards Act. Then we received a budget strategy paper. The Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Honorable Mthuli Ncube, presented the budget strategy paper for 2022, which was approved by Cabinet. The 2022 budget strategy paper is part of the annual budget preparatory process, which is issued in order for stakeholders to understand macro fiscal issues that will guide prioritization of budget allocations. Cabinet wishes to advise the nation that the Zimbabwean economy is projected to grow by 5.4% in 2022, and it will be anchored on growth in the mining, manufacturing, and electricity generation sectors, among others. Government revenue is expected to improve from 16.4%, which is about 390.8 billion Zimbabwe dollars of the gross domestic product GDP in 2021 to 17.8%, which is about 533.2 billion Zimbabwe dollars in 2022, while expenditure will increase to 19.4%, that is to about 579.1 billion Zimbabwe dollars of the GDP, from the 18.2%, which will be about 421.6 billion in 2021. In the 2022 national budget, government will prioritize to sustain macroeconomic stability, to create a conducive environment for business investment, and to improve the living standards of the majority. As such, the priority areas of 2022 are the following. 1. Inclusive growth and macroeconomic stability. 2. Developing and supporting productive value chains. 3. Optimizing value in our natural resources. 4. Infrastructure, ICT, and digital economy. 5. Social protection, human capital development, and well-being. 6. Effective institution building and governance. And 7. Engagement and re-engagement in debt restructuring. Then we move on to the 2021 mid-year fiscal policy and economic review and balance of payments developments and the state of the financial sector and outlook. Cabinet adopted the 2021 mid-year fiscal policy and economic review and balance of payment development, also the state of the financial sector and outlook. This was presented by the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Honorable Professor Mthuli Ncube. Cabinet advises the nation that the details of the 2021 mid-year fiscal policy will be in the statement that the Minister will present to Parliament this Thursday. Then we received a state of preparedness for the 2021-2022 agricultural production season. Cabinet considered and approved the report on the state of preparedness for the 2021-2022 agricultural season as presented by the Vice President and Minister of Health and Childcare, Honorable CGDN Chiwenga, as Chairman of the Cabinet Committee on Food Security and Nutrition. The nation is informed that the 2021-22 summer program strategic objective is to sustainably increase crop production and productivity to meet and surpass the national requirements for both human consumption and industrial use. This will be achieved through the implementation of the Agricultural Recovery Plan engadon inter alia the following. 1. Timely provision of inputs such as fertilizers, seed, fuel, and agrochemicals. 2. Consistent supply of key utilities such as power, fuel, and water to farmers. Then 3. Access to appropriate finance for inputs and working capital. 4. Involving more the private and financial services sector. 5. Continuous support of the targeted farmers with irrigation and mechanization services to improve efficiencies and climate proofing. 6. Capacitating the extension and advisory service delivery system to enhance responsiveness to farmers' needs. And 7. Strengthening government-wide coordination, monitoring, and evaluation. The strategy will result in more area being put to crop production as evidenced by the proposed increases of the hectarage of the following crops. So there will be more increases in hectarage of maize, sorghum, pearl millet, finger millet, soya beans, and tobacco. The financing of the summer cropping and livestock program will be through the public and private sector, as well as development partners. Government will finance the presidential crop and livestock input schemes through Treasury and also provide government default guarantee for programs funded through Agricultural Finance Corporation and Commercial Bank of Zimbabwe, CBZ. The National Crop Production Plan for the 2021-2022 season also includes proposals on private sector-led programs categorized into potato value chain financing and private sector commodity value chain financing or contract farming. The nation is advised that the 2021-2022 season will witness the operationalization of the Rural Presidential Horticultural Plan. This plan will target priority fruit trees, namely passion fruit, granadilla, pecan nuts, apple, guava, mango, lemon, avocado pears, and macadamia. Each targeted household will be given 10 trees of each fruit variety, depending on suitability of the fruit tree to the agroecological regions and potential income to be generated. The first phase, running to December 2021, is a target of 500,000 seedlings. In addition, a total of 35,000 gardens will be established, and each will be equipped with a solar borehole, kettle water trough, and an ablution facility. Each garden will cater for a village, school, or youth ward center. The other strategies in the crop sector include the localization of tobacco financing in order to optimize the net export benefits to 30% from the current 12.5%. The tobacco sector will be provided with seed money to the tune of US 60 million in order to establish a revolving fund for the local financing of tobacco to be a success. Then moving to the livestock sector, In the livestock sector, the strategic objective of the 2021-2022 Livestock Development Plan is to sustainably increase livestock production and productivity to meet and surpass the national requirements for both human consumption and industrial use. This will be achieved through implementation of programs under the Livestock Recovery and Growth Plan, such as climate-proofed livestock production, involving the private and financial sectors, access to forage and pastures, capacitating the livestock and veterinary extension and advisory service delivery system, and strengthening, once again, government-wide coordination, monitoring, and evaluation. The nation is further advised that the government will introduce a presidential rural poultry pass-on scheme. This seeks to commercialize rural poultry production, thereby providing an affordable source of protein and increasing rural household incomes. The scheme intends to distribute rural poultry chicks to at least 1.8 million rural households over a period of 5 years. The goats pass-on scheme will see a total of 600,000 doors and 40,000 bucks being equitably distributed to 600,000 households in all the country's 8 rural provinces in 2021. The program will result in 1.8 million rural households benefiting by 2023. The other programs to be introduced include silage and pasture production. This is done for enhanced milk production, also veterinary public health program, in order to improve quality and quantity of livestock as well as improve milk production. Then the Fisheries and Aquaculture Growth Plan will be implemented and will result in 60 fish ponds being developed at irrigation schemes in the country's districts, while 6 cage projects will be established at Mchekaranwa Dam, Osborne, Mutirikwi, Nerutanga, Marowanyati, and Chivu dams. The benefits of these programs and projects will accrue directly to the individual households, thereby raising their standards of living. Cabinet approved a raft of measures that will transform the agricultural sector once implemented. Our farmers are urged to approach their agricultural extension workers for the finer details of these programs. I thank you for listening. Thank you very much.